Today I'm very happy to join in with you today for another render review live where I'm going to go through the renders that have been submitted in the last week in the community. Let's see this one. So this is the first render. So what I see in this render is basically a few things. I think maybe you can move this tree a bit closer and use some depth of field just for a little bit better framing. And maybe you could put some more attention here at the back. It almost looks a bit like a jungle. Like it needs some more context around rather than just something random. I think the road is a bit too wet. I guess it's raining and all, but I think it's just way too much. The other thing that I would pay a lot of attention to is the indoor lighting, because right now you're using it in a way that it is exposing your parts that you haven't developed a lot of effort into, because as you can see, the lighting here is showing that you don't have enough modeling and it's just way too repetitive. So instead, maybe lower the opacity of the glass, and maybe I think the glass structure should be seen a bit more, and in that sense the lighting inside can be in contrast with the gloomy kind of sky, I would say. But overall, honestly, a very good render. Maybe you could do some more detailed modeling in the sidewalk here, maybe the same from this side as well. And yeah, honestly, these are kind of my thoughts. I think the main issue is here with the materials, the way the materials are set up in the building, and maybe some more modeling in this round. From the start, very good image. What I would say is that this flooring looks a bit too repetitive, so maybe try to play around, increase the size, or I mean somehow try and use a different texture, because you can see that the actual tiles are repeating just a lot and it doesn't look too realistic. The other thing is this toilet is too reflective, so maybe turn on the roughness a bit, and this needs to be metallic if it already isn't, and to lower the roughness as well. So that's one thing. Something else that I would say is maybe these stones over here need a bit more depth as well. And the lighting, maybe, I mean, the lighting looks all right coming from here. Maybe we just need some more shadows and more contrast and more depth overall. Not sure if you want to add baseboard, all, I mean, yeah, like trim all around here. But other than that, I mean, the wall texture looks nice. The mood is kind of nice. I'm not sure if the design choices are yours as well, but yeah, I mean, main thing that stood out to me was this floor material, so definitely take care of that. But overall, very good render. Maybe some more context on the outside as well. So yeah, these are just my initial thoughts, what I think. Let me know once you make these changes, submit them through in the community. I'll be happy to share some of my other points as well. I would love to see the progress of all of the renders that I am going to take a look at today. Okay, so the resolution is a bit low on this one, but other than that, honestly, it just needs a lot more depth. So what I would say is maybe if the lighting would hit this way, somehow adding some shadows, because right now the whole render just looks way too flat. The materials don't look too bad, honestly, they look quite good, but I think the main issue is here with lighting, and it's just way too sharp or just way too pixelated. Honestly, this fireplace here needs to be a lot more realistic. Maybe try to use a better model for the fire, or I guess particles or whatever. And yeah, honestly, these are just my thoughts. Main thing that would help this a lot is increasing the resolution, lowering the sharpness, and just adding some more light coming from the outside in the inside here. I like how this material is looking. I like how the materials overall are looking. As soon as you make that, I think you're going to see a lot of improvement, because we need some directional lighting in this render. So in this render, what I would say is definitely go a little bit further back with the camera. Maybe you can see the car moving more, and add the curbs here, right? So you need a lot more detailing in the surroundings. The other thing that I would say is maybe add some variations in the landscape, like the whole context. And these walls here look a bit too weird. I'm not sure if these are supposed to just hide the horizon, but I would definitely not suggest trying to hide the horizon this way. The other thing that I would say is make sure that you have turned on the brightest point in the HDRI as sun direction, because I don't think the lighting of the sky matches the lighting from the sun. So these are kind of my main thoughts. The materials look nice here. Yeah, I mean, these parts look well. Maybe add some people walking towards, maybe kind of a storyline, but definitely try to improve the surroundings and the lighting with the HDRI. What I would say here, definitely add some depth of field, because the camera is just focusing too much on these leaves at the front, so maybe we want them blurred out a bit, and these ones as well here. What I would say is, I think there's a lot of improvement that can be made here in the color, like the color correction, because it's just looking a bit too cold overall, right? So that's one thing. And I think the asphalt needs some cracks and some irregularities, maybe some potholes, maybe something like that. Maybe people walking around here, a curb around the actual sidewalk. The grass looks nice. I mean, it definitely looks nice, but yeah, I think there needs to be some division between the layers of the vegetation as well. So maybe lower ones, some mid ones, and the large ones over here. So like the thing with making sure that you're putting the vegetation right is to being able to tell that this is a separate tree, like this is a separate tree right here. They just look all mixed up. There's no depth between them. So that is one of the things that you have to definitely watch out for. Adding some people would help as well for the composition. And not sure why these lines are yellow. I'm not sure if they're supposed to be that way, but yeah, these are just my initial thoughts of this render. As far as this render goes, I think this material here needs to have more depth, so add some displacement to it. And also the carpet material needs to have some bump map or normal map. That would definitely help. But overall, the materials are looking nice. I don't think the problem is the material, but as always, the lighting has to be a bit more directional, have some more contrast, have some more shadows around, because it definitely has no depth and no layers to what we have here. I would say these line lights look a bit too warm. Maybe make them a bit colder, like the actual color that it emits. And yeah, on this maybe you can put a bit on the corner. I'm not sure, because they're just a bit too much space. And the main thing here is the composition. I would definitely try to increase the field of view, move a bit backwards. Maybe you can keep the same angle, but I just think it's way too zoomed in the furniture, I mean on the bed. And instead of looking like a render of a bedroom, it more so looks like a furniture render of trying to, I guess, it kind of looks like a marketing asset of this bed, right? So if it's more so about the whole bedroom, I would definitely move a bit backwards. So what you can do here definitely is try to balance the artificial lighting. I would definitely lower it down a bit, right? I'm not sure why you have this line here. Maybe you have done the square lighting directed in the house, but definitely do the square lighting behind the camera, just that way you cannot tell where you're putting it here if you've added artificial lighting. That is one thing. What you definitely also want to improve is just try to balance this artificial lighting with the sky, because the sky is not completely dark. That's one thing. So if the sky is not as dark, then these lights cannot be as strong. So try to keep a balance between these lights and the sky as well, right? So that is one thing. I like that you put this blur here, and other than that, I think the lighting is the main issue here. Put these square lights behind the camera and increase the intensity if you want to hit it harder. Lower the intensity of these lights on the artificial lights over here, and darken the sky. These are just my main things. Maybe you can add some depth in the actual roof here and make the wood material a bit more detailed. But other than that, yeah, these are just my thoughts. First thing I would say is the sky looks way too dark. The sun looks way too strong. So balance the sunlight with the sky as well, right? And there's just too many people standing outside here, right? I think even if you want to do a lot more people, maybe try to add like a storyline, somehow connecting. Maybe this guy is jumping and there's like 3 or 4 friends watching him jump or laughing or whatever. Just try to connect it with the story, I guess, right? The other thing I would say, the landscape looks a bit too, I guess, plain, right? So add some variety to it, and there's some grass that has come above the actual slab here and over here as well, right? Add more depth to the roof, add displacement maps to the roof. That would definitely help, and also add displacement maps to the facade here. Maybe close this off with some trees or somehow to hide the horizon line, because it looks like a dead end there. Add maybe some I guess like more context overall. Like I feel like there's just some more context missing. Maybe a neighboring home over there, more trees, more landscape, less people definitely, and not scattered around, right? So that's one thing. And balance the sunlight with the sky. So these are the things. Thank you very much, guys, for joining in. I will see you on next week, and keep submitting and being as active as possible in the community. I'll talk to you guys soon.